Okay. So basically, I'm about to get ready for bed in a second anyway. Um, Now I talked about last year. There was some things going on, okay, and I noticed that there were, a few extra people popping up on my IG, okay, that I'm like, who the fuck are these people, you know? And basically, I'm getting, a bunch of random profiles and everything else, popping out of the woodwork, and I'm like, who the fuck are these people? That's when vacation came around, I started talking about some. I was like laying down in bed because I was in pain and freaking sleepy as shit and everything, and tired, couldn't really move. So I'm like, people are funny because they act like I can't see the fake profile pictures. They act like I don't see the shit going on. And I was more, I was kind of wrong with saying that because I was tired, and in pain. So I was just laying down trying to relax. But I'm just like, people are just really funny. They really are. And I'm just like, from the funny activity that was here and there to last year where, I really started paying attention to shit. And I'm just like, dude is acting funny as fuck. Then out of nowhere, like seriously, who goes up to somebody and says, "Are you a witch?" And I'm like, right then and there, that's when shit popped in and was like, "Watch her," and that's when it was like, "Ain't focus in." And then I noticed that I was being watched, putting my passcode in my phone and everything else like that. And then it's like people talking about other people, and then when I'm walking by and start coming into places and everything, oh yeah, well, people, they just do this and they just judge and then they talk about this without knowing that. And I'm just like, where the hell is this coming from? But the only person I'm around, or that I was actually around, was the one actually talking about people. And I'm just like, huh, okay, that's cool. I'll keep it to myself anyway, and just keep it moving, you know, um, because I see what people do, and I try to let them know there's another way to go about that. You don't really have to do certain things. Like I said, I agree with people just to shut them the fuck up. Like another thing, like I know what I do, I know what I don't do. People know what I've done, what I did, and what I don't do, what I haven't done. And I'm just like, when I can catch somebody in a lie, and I start that hesitating, like, huh, yeah, I remember this. It's like, ooh, why you lying now? And it's like, well, nobody, you sure, people like me and shit? It's like, oh yeah, it's like, that just sounds off because I know, like, there was like certain things that weren't really liked about me. And I remember being told this shit. And I'm just like, so how was it one thing before, but now it's another thing now? And then it's just like, well, I know I never did anything, but if I have to stroke an ego, for a friend, I will. But not literally, just, verbally. And it's just like, um, it's a lot of things that started really popping up. And then this one over here with all the arguments and everything that started popping up and arising between us, it's just like, you're calling out all these names and trying to figure out all my exes. You're trying to figure out every little thing about me and that you've been trying to do. And plus, you've been trying to figure out what hospital I was fucking born at and trying to figure out all this other shit about me. And I'm like, what's the interest now? Matter of fact, the thing that really pissed me off was, like I said, that I've been using the headphones and everything. And when we were like not sleeping together, but still in the same bed before I actually had to kick him out the room, like whatchamacallit, I already know. I already know. I just wasn't sure about before, but when I started coming in tune, yeah, what I thought was taking place actually was taking place when I was asleep. And then on top of that, it was the whole thing when the headphones came out, because that's why I had to sleep in a onesie in order to make sure that I was not being touched. And then on top of that, it was what you call it, the headphones when my music started, when my music was changing. Okay, and the next song came on, and it took a second for it to really spike up on there, right? What happened was he was touching my back. He was touching my spine and saying, "Come to me, come to me." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" But I was still as shit because I didn't want him to know that I was awake. I just stiffened up and just was at the very edge of the bed. But again, this dude liked the fact that I was so uncomfortable that I would hurt myself and sleep on the floor rather than be comfortable in the bed with him. I didn't like that. And then it got to the point where it was like, you know what? I see how you are and I see how you do. And I already did, but like I said, the fact is I got hurt. So what other choice did I have other than to rely on my only source of help? You know? Like, yeah, I've always worked. I always did for myself. Everybody that I ended up with wanted to be the type of person that provided for me and everything else, but it wasn't in the right type of way. Basically, oh, I can treat you like shit because, you know, I let you sleep in, or I'm not making you do this. I didn't ask for this. I came in this situation with my own, in every situation I ever been in, and only two of them acted like this, and they were both back to back, and they were both after the abuser that I was with. Like I said, that motherfucker held me by the mouth when my transpass went out, and he beat me to shit. And said if I ever left him, he would fucking kill me if it wasn't for anybody like fucking rich or famous. He would fucking kill me. And I seen him one time on a bus when I was in Philly. One time, and he scared the living shit out of me. Then I seen him again when I ended up at Einstein Hospital. Okay, and whatchamacallit, he was actually there dropping off somebody, and you know, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, out of all odds, how do I run into your ass again? Of course, I couldn't speak. I was frozen stiff. But the cop basically that came out of the hospital looked at me, and he seen him, and then he seen him like drive off and just stop the car like a few feet away. He was talking to me, but I couldn't speak. And next thing you know, he was telling me, he was like, "Don't ever let somebody scare you to the point that you can't speak." You know, and I had to remember that. And I also remember how when, you know, I said something about the driver that bashed my head in, where towards I got the indentation underneath my skin over here. Okay. I had the bruise and everything on my arm from where he was gripping me up and everything else because the prepper. But you know, he came out of the bathroom. Like I said, I thought we were all going to go out for shots. I don't even know if I uploaded that video. I might have deleted it because I was eating and talking, so it was taking so long. But he came out and jumped him and got him off of me. But when I got the door open, it was like, "Oh, freedom!" And then next thing you know, the dude just bashed my head in. But then, what? Everybody at the job at the pizza shop was crying over him because he was like stabbed shitload of times from picking up some chick that wailed out on him some way, shape, or form. And, I'm like, what the fuck? Now, the chick that I work with, she didn't like me for shit, okay? And she told me, she was like, you fucked this face up. And I'm like, the fuck? Because, she knew what happened. Brigito told, they talked. But, you know, um, I left after I found out that, he was still employed. But, I mean, no hard feelings. I've been through a lot. You didn't get the best of me. So I just went on in my merry way. I just didn't want to cross paths. And, you know, it was just like, oh, you didn't do shit to me. So whatever, everybody needs to work or whatever. So it's like, okay. But since, now you guys are really getting comfortable to have us, crossing paths again and not respecting what I said, now I just gotta disappear. So that's what the fuck I did. I left and I never went back. Well, I'm not gonna say never because I did go back, but then I left and went to the post office, stayed there, and then they screwed me over too. Um, yeah, but it's a lot of shit that goes on in these companies and everything that people don't really look at, and ah, it's just a lot. Like I told you, they were pissed off at me at the post office because, especially union, so I know they had a field day when I got hurt, so they could just jump on my ass, especially since I told on them and what they were doing behind the management, the plant manager's back and everything, how they were shipping the people out that they were just hiring and putting them down to other buildings and passing them all around and everything. I'm like, this is some bullshit, but that's okay. It's cool. Um, oh, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that I can talk about. I got stories for days. I really do. I got stories for days. Days and days and days. Oh, boy. But I only talk about what I need to. Because I don't rehash bullshit unless it pops up on here and I have some experience in that whole entire area that I can try to clarify to let you guys see, hey, yeah, it's not the end of the world. It does get better. But the one thing you don't do is you don't stay silent. Um, sometimes you do have to stay close, like I said. Yeah. Um, I stay quiet about a lot of things, for the longest time. And, you know, I've seen the situations that were going to arise, certain things, that I need to be pre-warned about or be told about. And it's like, I don't get the pre-warnings, really, really. Well, I'm not going to say I don't get the pre-warnings because I do. Um, it's just like, when is this going to come into play, But yeah, like I seen the faces of two of my friends, and I told my friend about this too. I was like, something's gonna happen in the future where it's gonna be like the two of them involved, and that shit happened. And I was like, oh wow, I seen that shit coming, and I didn't know why until after the situation arrived. Well, situations arrived, and I'm like, oh, that's why. That's what connected. I see. I see. I see. I see. But I shush when I need to. Anyway, that's about it because I'm done with talking for tonight. Because I'm about to go to bed so I can wake back up nice and early and get myself ready for the gym because I think I'm going to go soon again. Oh, the water feels so good. I didn't go yesterday. But yeah, I think if I get up early enough, I'm gonna go in. I'm all nice and good and everything. So yeah, get my swim in. But anyway, have a good night, people. I'm going to listen to my reading that I just did, and Then I will be uploading it. Ooh. Anyway, um, just stay safe out there. Okay. Love you all. Bye bye. And it's not the end of the world. Oh yeah, before I go, like I said, I never really had a grunt job. Matter of fact, I got to see special areas and everything. Like my mom, she was an officer, so it's like, well, retired now. She's been retired for a while, but I was able to go around the buildings and go and see all the different things in 1801 line and the offices and stuff like that. So that was always fun. Then they had the one dude on duty. He was like the guy from um, what is that damn Beverly Hill Cops? No, it might be. I'm not sure. The one that makes all the sounds. That dude, like, she worked with somebody that could do that shit. And, when I was a kid, it really made me laugh. It was like, oh, cool. But everybody was so nice and friendly there. I really just liked it. It was so nice. The courtrooms and everything. Really, just beautiful, beautiful architecture. It really was. Well, is. Um, so, I got to see a lot of the inner workings and get to know a lot of people in there when I was younger, when I was a kid. And, it was like, you're a kid, you get the special treatment. And then also as an adult, with every job that I had, I never really had a grunt job. And any job that was going to, like, enforce a grunt type of situation with me seemed like it will always, like, disappear. I would never be able to last. Like, when I was 16, 18, and worked at McDonald's, like, the smell of the food made me sick, so I didn't even last there for fucking 2 months. So I was just like, fuck this shit. And plus, they were treating people shitty anyway, so, and doing a lot of things that they shouldn't have been doing. Like, seriously. I stopped the dude from packaging a damn burger that dropped on the floor, and he said, whatever doesn't kill it will make it stronger. I'm like, that's a kid. You don't do that shit. You don't do that shit to anybody, but you're really going to do that to a fucking kid? I'm like, no. But I'm like, you just gotta watch the people that you work for, because not everybody, is on the up and up. They're really not. Even with the post office, working with them, there's a lot of nepotism and everything down in Lindbergh, and they proudly talk about that shit, and they go around that. So yeah, if they like you and your family, then you're rising high. If they don't like your ass and your family, then they can try to kick you out or get you fired some way, shape, or form. And I experienced that, and whatchamacallit, then going to the NDC and everything. Everything was good. I went there as a custodian, and I got to ride the forklifts for my reactive when I started training for that, because that's something that I really wanted to do. Like in Lindbergh, I was a mail prepper, mail handler, and I'm just like watching the people and their attitudes towards the custodians that would come by to clean up the mess and everything, and you get a title, and then you think that you're above somebody, and I never understood that. And lucky enough for me, I never experienced it either, when I actually went in for that position, and I never really had to do any grunt work. Like, nothing was really hard other than walking on my feet all day on a concrete floor. So you have to make sure the shoes are comfortable, or else you will fuck yourself up. But yeah, it was a lot of shit that was like violations and everything else down there. But we're not going to talk about that, right? Because just like when I got hurt, they like to threaten people. So anyway, it's just a lot of shit. It really is. But hey, it is what it is. It's life. It's a journey. It's an adventure. How you live it is how you're gonna live it. Either way, it's gonna hurt you, right? Or it's gonna build your character and make you stronger. So it's either shut up and be stomped on and spat on, like people like to do who has controlling issues, or be your annoying, handy ass self and bring everything to fucking light. Right? Bye bye.